Hi everybody, welcome. Tammy from Tammy's Homesteading Crafts. Today we're in the garden. As you can see, this is probably going to be the very last garden tour we do. When you see the garden, you'll see why. We're getting pretty well down to the end of what we have in our garden. So if you guys want to see what I have still growing in my garden, stick around. So before we get started with our tour, I want to welcome all of you to my channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. For those of you who've been here from the beginning, liking, sharing, commenting on my videos, I appreciate every one of you. For those of you who this might be the very first video you're watching, welcome, and I hope you enjoy the content. Hope you may find something in any of my other videos that you will like and subscribe to them. Subscribing to a YouTube channel doesn't cost you anything, so consider doing that. It does benefit all the YouTubers when you subscribe to their channel. Okay, so let's get into our garden tour. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to show you is where my cucumbers were. They're gone. They were getting pretty well dried out and just pretty much dead. So we pulled those out this past week. The 2 bins that I had cucumbers in also got pulled out. Most likely I'm going to dump this dirt into, and I'll show you my strawberry patch because I did some cleaning on that as well. But this dirt will probably get put into those. Not sure that pot will make another year. Every time I move it, it breaks more and more off. So we'll see if we're going to keep this one or if we end up just getting a new pot. Or less pots that we have. I have some other ones that I haven't used, so we just might be getting rid of that. But other than that, you know, cucumbers did really well for me this year. I have had a lot of them, made a lot of pickles, a bunch of relish, doing really good with the cucumbers. Really pleased. That was one of the things that I really, truly needed this year, so I wanted to make sure that I got cucumbers. Carrots, doing really well in my pots here. Tops are really growing well. I have not pulled any carrots out yet. I probably will not. From what I can see, there's a carrot there. You can see that it's good size down there. There's quite a few carrots in there. Most likely I won't harvest those until sometime next month. I'll probably just take a picture of what I get out of them, but most likely we'll be changing out the soil in those just so that I can have new good soil, since I've grown carrots in that same soil for a couple of years. Also, this had cucumbers in it. Pulled those out. Again, these are heavy bins, and I probably again will dump this into my strawberry patch so that I can at least move these bins this winter. They're really hard to move, and I've got to get the fabric off the ground underneath them, and it gets really hard. But yeah, so those are, and then this had my lettuce in it, which actually did pretty good, but I just realized that we just really didn't like the lettuce, so probably won't be doing that again this year or next year. But yeah, so there's those things. Like I said, not a whole lot left in the garden. Let's look at the strawberry patch. Well, there's my strawberry patch. It is pretty well, I cleaned it right out. The strawberries were not doing too well in there. I need to rake it up a little bit, but it's pretty low on dirt, as you can see where the sides of that are. So it's going to need a little bit of dirt. So I figured I'm going to add quite a bit of that dirt from those pots and see where we're at. I think I'm going to turn this into my herb garden and be able to put my herbs in here as well as other things. But that's the plan, is most likely turning this into an herb garden over here and putting other stuff over there by the berries. So let's see what else is growing in the garden. So the cilantro I let go to seed, so there's some seeds on there. I'm hoping they'll drop into this bucket. I probably will leave that this year and see if they won't grow back over the winter, and let it drop all the seeds. I'm going to blend those down so that the seeds do actually get into the soil there, but hopefully I'll be able to have that reseed on itself. That'll be the one pot that I will not dump the dirt in and try to get it to regrow. We pulled the beets. Beets didn't do so well in the garden in these pots this year. I think I had 1 or 2 beets that actually, they only gave me 1 or 2 beets. So if I end up getting rid of these pots, I can easily, if I'm not going to do beets in those, I can change these into carrots if I need to. But yeah, so those are there. My basil did really well. Cut it yesterday and ended up making some pesto, putting that in the freezer. But this probably, I don't think basil comes back a second year. I'll leave it in here and see if it does. If it comes back, great. If not, I'll just get new and plant it, but I don't think it does. Here is my parsley. I do have the seeds going down in there. Some of it is growing back. I didn't really need it this year, so it's okay. But I do need to put some more dirt in this pot itself, so some of my dirt will get put around into these. But yeah, I'll push all the seeds off into the bucket and then do a cutting and put some dirt around that. But other than that, that's what we have for our herbs. But actually I'm thinking maybe I'm going to try to get, well, at least like the basil I could put in the ground over there in that pot. Cilantro, I don't know. I don't want it all over, and same with parsley. I don't want it to be all over. Basil's one of those that I can keep control of. I have my oregano that I have to pull out of the flower bed here, or the berry bed here, and get it over there. There's 2 of those. So that's going to be probably my project next couple of weeks, is trying to get those moved out and different things. Where these are in the garden, I believe I'm going to put my blueberries over here. I'm going to dig holes and put the blueberries over here on this side so that I can have them over here and out of the pots. And then I would have those 2 big pots to do stuff with, but they're not doing so well right now, and I don't want to kill them by leaving them in the pot, so I'm going to put them in the ground before we get frost. But that's my plan there. Blueberries they're doing okay. They just had a lot of dead on them this year, this one especially. So I don't know if I don't know. That's why I'm thinking maybe they just didn't get enough water, and they're pot bound and they really need to be in the ground. So after that, I think I'm just going to get them into the ground, let them try to do their own thing in the ground there. But yeah, I don't want to lose them. I've had them for 3-4 years. I want to be able to make sure that I can get some blueberries on them. So we'll put them in the ground and hopefully hope for the best for next year. Well, the rhubarb is still doing relatively well. I've got a lot of it in here. I need to do another picking on it. I keep pulling a little bit out here and there, making sure that it's still stiff. If it's mushy, I kind of let it go, but there's a lot. It keeps growing and getting bigger. So I need to do another picking of that and try to save as much of that as I possibly can. I did, there's raspberries there. The raspberry bushes are all over. I did do a cutting on the blackberries and some of the raspberries. The ones that didn't have any fruit on them, I cut them back quite a bit. The ones that had fruit and berries that still needed to be ripe, I left them on, and then I will just give them a good cutting here. They're almost done with their berries, and I want to get them cut down before they possibly start to grow any more. But the blackberries were super tall. I think there might be one on the outside of this fence here that hangs over that has some unripe berries on it, and once those are done, I'm going to cut these right down to that length, get them cut down so that I can keep control of them hopefully next year. This will allow me to cut out any dead that's in there and kind of weed it out a little bit. It kind of got overgrown on me, and I really I don't want that. I want it to stay kind of small and just give me enough berries to do a few things with here and there. I've already gotten probably 4 to 5 quarts of blackberries and about 3 quarts of raspberries. So yeah, I mean, it's given me enough. I don't have to make jam every year with that. I can freeze it and then in 2 years make jam, which would be okay for me. But that's where the berries are. We're going to do a good cutting here with them. And then in the corner here is where my herbs are down there, and I've got to get those out of there. I never cut them. The berries overtook and I never got them cut, and I need to get them cut so that I can put them into the herb garden over here on the side and let the berries just take over that corner. They're going to anyways. I might as well let them do it on their own. But yeah, so that's where we're at with the berries. Let's look at the rest of the garden. That's the outside of the garden. Let's look what's still growing on the inside. Okay, with our peppers. Our peppers are a fall plant. They will keep producing right into October. So they're just really starting to produce and give me a lot of fruit. But all of my pepper plants are pretty much loaded with peppers. I've been pulling them off, using them to bake with, to cook with, to make salsa. I've made 4 full batches of salsa with all the tomatoes that I had coming off. And you know, the peppers are still, you know, coming off full. This pepper, this kills me. This is a yum yum pepper. That's what they look like this year on this one here. They're round. I thought maybe they got a wrong pepper or something, but that's what they look like. This is what they're supposed to look like. This is what I've always had the yum yum peppers look like. This one, I bought 3 of the same pepper, and each one of them is different. So this one's giving me red ones. This one's giving me orange, which is what I usually have, yellow orange. And then that one's giving me round orange peppers. They're all still sweet, very sweet, but these ones are literally loaded with peppers. I'll be doing my peppers and onions that I normally do every year with these to try to save the peppers when it gets down to the end of season. It's been so windy and stuff, they're breaking off. They're getting a little brittle and, you know, breaking right off. They get too heavy, too many peppers on them. I try to come out and pick as much as I can. But yeah, so those are doing, actually peppers are doing really, really well right now and getting quite a bit off of them. Okay, so let's look at the tomatoes. Well, the tomato plants are looking a little ugly. They're really dying down. There's not too many tomatoes left on them. I've been picking pretty much every day, trying to get the nice ripe ones, get them done. That's why I said by the end of next month, when I go to do a video, these will be done. There's just a few peppers. There's no more flowers coming to give me new tomatoes. Sorry, tomatoes, not peppers. To give me new tomatoes, so they're going to be pretty much done. This one pretty much has all the peppers, all the tomatoes on here are already orange, if not red. Very few green ones left. Same with over here. These are my like Roma type peppers. Tomatoes. Oh my god, I don't know why I keep saying peppers, because I just got done talking about peppers. Tomatoes. My Roma type tomatoes. A lot of them, something got them, they got rotten really fast. So there's a lot of them that are just no good. And you know, I'm picking through the ones that are, but there's a lot that are just really no good. They're just sitting on the ground rotting. They were rotting before. The same with over here. I have a lot of those ones that are just, they're rotting. Just sitting there rotting. I don't know. These are my Heinz nice eating peppers. Tomatoes. Oh my god. Nice eating tomatoes, slicing tomato to put on like a sandwich, BLTs and stuff like that. I have a few of those. There's still some green ones there coming. But really no flowers to get me new ones. So once they're done, I'm just going to start cutting back the branches and getting rid of them a little at a time and pruning them down. But yeah, pretty much done with the garden this year. There's going to be another good harvest of tomatoes in the next couple of days. And I used 50 pounds of tomatoes to make ketchup. So I've made 2 batches of ketchup. I need 25 pounds each. I still probably have 30 pounds of tomatoes in the refrigerator. I'm going to do some spaghetti sauce. So any of these leftover tomatoes that I have will probably go into spaghetti sauce. I don't really need any more salsa. I've made 4 batches of salsa. Pretty much good on that. I might end up doing some diced tomatoes if I need, but I don't really know how many pounds of tomatoes I need to make a decent batch of sauce. I only have 30. Probably to get a decent amount of tomato sauce when it cooks down, I'm going to need probably at least 50 pounds. Hopefully most of these will go into that. If I need to put them in the freezer to freeze them until I'm ready to get enough to do, that's what I'll do. But that's it. There's really not much left in the garden to see today. Like I said, the last thing that'll be coming out of the garden will be all the peppers. And I can do a little shorts on, chopping them up and freezing them and showing what I do on those. But other than that, that is it for the garden tour, guys. Not a lot left, but we did get a lot of stuff out of this garden. We got a lot put in the pantry. For the little that I had in the garden, I got a lot out of the garden. So, okay, that's it for today's video. Well, guys, that is it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. Yeah, like I said, there hasn't been a lot. We didn't add a lot to our garden, but what we did add to our garden, we've gotten quite a bit out of it. And it was another year of testing of what works, what doesn't work for the garden, as far as using some pots, using some raised beds, seeing where I can kind of control the number of critters that are getting into different things in the garden. But yeah, that's it for today's video, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you on the next one. Have a good day. Bye.